Destin has been with IGN for a very long time. Destin is a creator that's been around for a very long time. He's now kind of been like more Xbox oriented than he has in the past. He really kind of got that way during the Activision merger, which he was right in a lot of his regard that the Activision merger, anybody who's calling that shit a fucking monopoly is so dumb and doesn't understand how anything works. Because like, how can you be a monopoly when you're like fourth or fifth in the entire gaming industry? And that's kind of where Microsoft was sitting at. And I don't know, dude. I honestly really liked when the court said that you had to keep everything multi-platform. And I think if studios in the future, if like PlayStation or Nintendo buy shit, they should be held to the same standard where they have to make everything fucking third party, because we need to move away from this very toxic anti-consumer policy of being the exclusivity is anti-consumer. It always has been, always will be. But I saw that he quit IGN, and I'm curious onto why.
After 13 years at IGN, I quit my dream job. IGN was an unforgettable experience I will always cherish. I got to see the world, make friends, and build a body of work I'm proud of. With nearly 1 billion views generated for the IGN brand, though, it's time to bet on myself. Starting today, I'm building my own independent contribution to the video game industry focused on meaningful conversations, asking tough questions, and doing my best to find and report the truth. When I started covering games in 2007, I promised myself I'd ask the important questions, explore overlooked angles, and shine a light on topics that needed attention. I also vowed to use any influence I gained to advocate for you, the player. That's what games media should do. Advocate and ask questions on your behalf. That's what I did at IGN, and it's what I'll keep doing. Yes, I will still tell terrible jokes from time to time, though. I'm sorry. Look, when Daniel Dwyer launched the amazing No Clip in 2016, he said gamers deserve media that reflects their passions. My thought is that gamers deserve media that represent them. And my goal is to help bring us closer to making that a reality. So
I don't really think he's the guy to do it, though, because here's the problem, and he might clarify this here in a second. I just wanted to pause and actually like kind of give my 2 cents. IGN is one of the worst sites in gaming. It's just bad. It's bad. There's nothing good about it. It gives games like fucking Dragon Age the Veilguard and Avowed high scores, and then fucking plays cheerleader for them when they fail because they're garbage and they're not well written. And then when a game that comes out, like I heard Wukong was incredible, but yet it sits at a mid rating, or even a game that I really liked, Gungrave Gore, which I thought was like, is it a fucking masterpiece? No, but it deserved like at least a 7 out of 10, 8 out of like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, and it's sitting at like a 4 from IGN. It's like they have a bias, and anything that's like too gritty or too fucking raw, they rate low. But anything that hits these fucking certain boxes, and this is where I actually get mad with the whole the whole woke media thing. This is where I actually get mad. Now, I've covered in the past and recently or whatever, where I will sit from the perspective where I think the anti-woke guys go a little bit fucking too far, and they seem to have like this idea that, oh, just because of this is this way, I'm going to make a knee-jerk reaction. And that knee-jerk reaction a lot of times is fucking annoying. I think that you should wait until you have the actual product. My problem is when the product releases and it's garbage and there's reasons that people didn't buy it, that then the mainstream media in gaming shows up and white knights for it. Like, I don't understand why this failed. How could this fucking happen? What? How could this happen? No one fucking knows. Yeah, everybody fucking knows. Everybody knows why Concord failed, because it had boring ass fucking character design. Everybody fucking knows why Immortals of Avion died, because it was just trying to do everything that everybody else did, but in a really fucking boring way. And then, oh look, racism is the main talking point. Oh, everybody knows why Dragon Age Veilguard failed, because there's literally a clip where a motherfucker is doing push-ups for misgendering. It's like you're spitting in the face of a bunch of your fucking consumer base and then lecturing on them on why they're fucking stupid, and then the industry comes in to say, we don't get it. Well, yeah, dude, it's fucking retarded, and it's disingenuous, and like he just said, the truth is a lot of times very, very fucking simple, but you're not willing to talk about it because you're scared that it's going to make you look bad on Twitter.
Here's my pitch. I'm starting a Patreon. If you enjoyed my interviews, coverage, and commentary, this is your chance to get even more. Early access to content, behind-the-scenes insights, and an opportunity to shape the discussions held by submitting questions for upcoming guests. With your help, I can do this independently while continuing to advocate for you. And I think of each video like a save state in a game. That's why I'm calling it Save State Plus, a captured moment we can reflect on to better inform where we are going. Speaking of what's ahead, Phil Spencer was one of the first to accept a one-on-one conversation to discuss his corner of the industry as the head of Xbox. We'll be chatting in the near future, and even if I get a no comment, you know I'm going to ask about the Xbox handheld, what their next-gen hardware looks like, and the tumultuous state of the industry, as well as other questions.
Dude, well, here's the question. People who get these opportunities to sit down with people like Phil Spencer should ask about the DEI bullshit, and like maybe not position it as DEI bullshit, but ask like what does you as a company have to say about a lot of these conversations going on about forced politics into gaming, forced dialogue. What are you doing to maybe combat this? Maybe reel it back in. What are you doing when you had a community manager under your wing recently called gamers the scum of the earth or some shit? What are you doing to like kind of rectify these situations to build a less toxic bridge between your developers and your fans? What are you doing to provide like a better like roadblock ahead? These are questions that need to be asked by like people like him, like this guy right here who have the opportunities to sit down with people like this. Like even like ask Phil Spencer, like any of these type of questions would be way more beneficial than just like doing the same fucking sugar-coated bullshit that we always get.
You want answered. The interview will be available first on Patreon and shortly after on YouTube.
And the biggest problem too, on top of this, the biggest thing that I know why they don't do this is so they get that sit down again. So they can sit down with them again instead of being the guy that was actually there that was willing to ask the questions.
Phil Spencer has always been open in our chats, and I'm excited to speak with him again. Beyond interviews, I want to build a brand that celebrates great games and tells their stories, while being honest when the mark is missed. I've visited studios, talked with creators, and analyzed games through objective testing and subjective commentary. Sometimes it's a celebration, sometimes it's a critique, but honesty matters, and access should never influence coverage. That's what I hope to achieve with your support. I'll never let my critique be silenced by a brand, and I won't start now. Games coverage is shifting, how we talk about them, how news is reported, and how players respond. My hope is to build a more balanced, objective voice and have fun while doing it. I know it sounds crazy, almost as crazy as getting hundreds of games with Xbox Game Pass. Okay, last time I make that joke, I promise.
Dude, that's what I said. He was kind of becoming an Xbox shell, so I think that's kind of where he's transitioning over to. Is kind of like a Jez Corden or something. I feel like he's going to be very Xbox oriented, and this isn't as much of a I left IGN because truth isn't there anymore. To I'm going to glaze Xbox as hard as I can. Please, I'm on my knees, Phil Spencer. Please come in my mouth. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, and it sucks because I want more people with more influence to be able to ask questions, because it seems like we're sitting from a point right now where there's a lot of discourse happening and there's a lot of people that are mad, and it's like, well, how are we able to, if we're talking about a diversity of ideas, how are we going about making sure all ideas are at the table? How are you talk a lot about inclusion and stuff, but it seems like it's very one directional. How are you with your studios talking to them and opening up the ideas of maybe having other people of other backgrounds and other thoughts in those things and not just ones they agree with? That's a question that should be answered. Because right now it feels like a lot of people are mad because there's an overwhelming there's an overwhelming imbalance of people with left-wing ideologies at these tables and not enough people from the counterposing ideas. And I'm a very firm believer that you need both of those people sitting at the table. You need people of the right and people of the left to sit there and kind of, okay, well, if we want to tell this story, what's the best way to go about it? Well, we should talk about this, and then that idea gets shut down, and then this idea gets shut down, and then you find something a little more balanced that would grab players from all the directions. This is the problem, and this is why I think a lot of games are failing, is because of the lack of understanding of what makes gamers want to play games, and a lack of understanding of how to reach that broader audience. Because they talk about the broader audience and the fact that, oh, we need to just shove diversity down your fucking your fucking vagina hole, right past your clit and right up your fucking all the way through your esophagus. But instead of actually understanding how do you get that broader appeal, how do you get that bigger consumer base? Well, you need to, if you're wanting to get that thing, you have to make it to where you write a story that's good enough that both sides can see something in it and get something from the game.
Give you a platform, my Patreon will include forms for submitting questions to guests. Patrons get priority, but I'll also have avenues on YouTube for submissions. I'll host monthly Q&As where you can call or write in to share perspectives, discuss topics, or debate with me directly. So to recap, my goals are: have more thoughtful conversations with the people building the games industry, share my personal opinions, and also previews and reviews, deliver objective insights through testing and analysis, combine these approaches to discuss news and create features about the games we love or don't. More importantly, provide a voice that asks the questions you want answered and seek the truth. This week, I have an interview scheduled with my friend, Kinda Funny co-founder, Greg Miller.
Dude, Greg Miller's a fucking clown, dude. This is Greg Miller, dude. Let's find a fucking Greg Miller fucking meltdown. Greg Miller meltdown, dude. He has them all the time. All the fucking time. He's a fucking clown, dude. I'm trying to find I don't know, dude. I've seen it. He's a fucking like shill. I know he's a fucking shill. I can't fucking find anything right now off the top of my house. But Greg Miller's a fucking clown, dude. I've never liked Greg Miller. He is so fucking stupid. Like, he's won a fucking he has like 4 PlayStation things where he will fucking suck off PlayStation. Let's find how he is a fucking industry plant shill. Like, I don't know if he's a shill, but he's so fucking insufferable. God damn it. I'm trying to remember what he said, but dude, yeah, he fucking sucks, dude. I just remember he's fucking he's in Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure he's the guy that's in Spider-Man. I don't like Greg Miller. I've never liked Greg Miller.
I also have more interviews lined up with friends and industry leaders shaping the space, which I'll reveal at a later date. Walking away from a dream job means I'm doing this on my own, but with your help, I can turn this dream into a thriving platform for thoughtful conversations, honest analysis, and meaningful insights. Visit patreon.com/SaveStatePlus to help me build it. With your support, I can grow, hire, expand, and create something truly special.
Here we go.
I hope to see you there.
So I'm gonna see. Did he post the if he didn't post the fucking interview with the sit down with Independent Future? That's an hour long. I'm not fucking watching that. I don't know. But we're gonna fucking see. Like, out of touch, dude. 8 minutes. We're gonna see this.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you tired of celebrities, especially these people in the video game industry that tell you how you should think and how you should vote? Because I know I am. And now that this election's over, I want to bring light because I saw a tweet from Kid Smooth that brought into light something that Greg Miller and Kinda Funny Games did, where basically they were trying to use their platform and celebrity status, you know, quote unquote celebrity, to tell you how you should vote. And this is the thing I hate. They act like us as, you know, civilians, our little pea brains can't possibly comprehend the world going on around them, even though Greg Miller couldn't even do his fucking tax papers and had to have Colin Moriarty do it for him when he worked at IGN because he's a giant man baby. But now, he knows what he's talking about. His values are the quote-unquote right way you should be thinking, and anything that he doesn't think is wrong.
Here we go.
I've witnessed.
Greg Miller had the nerve to tell us all of his vote views to vote for Kamala Harris for him as if we are to value his views over our own. Probably the most disrespectful endorsement. And Kid Smooth's a fucking clown too, but like this idea that anybody coming out, like he's been a left wing shill for a very long time. I don't need to watch this whole video. I just needed to like get like some fucking Greg Miller hate in here because I do not like Greg Miller and I just fucking don't enjoy the guy. I've never enjoyed the guy. I just like if he's your first guy, I don't believe you're going to do anything that's beneficial for the industry. I think because Greg Miller fucking sucks off the industry. Greg Miller fucking sits there and just waits for it to come in his fucking mouth, and he's been that way forever. So I don't see Destin doing anything like actually fucking beneficial. He's just gonna be the same guy that's there to so he can be there and get his fucking cool interviews with famous people and shake hands and shake dicks with people like Phil Spencer. He's not here to answer questions for the community or any community of that regard other than the same fucking shit he's been shilling for his entire career. And that sucks, dude, because I actually think that Destin has had some good takes over the years, but the problem is I don't think he's going to ask hard questions. I mean, just
This video is brought to you by you.
Podcast and how do we feel about X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. Recorded with Danny, we did the lobby and it was like, outrageous at the time for an IGN person to go to GameSpot and be on the lobby. And it was all these crazy doors flung open. And it was the same thing. I was worried about the audience understanding what we were doing, but I was so worried about the industry, right? Where it was like, when we were at IGN, so easy to get a copy, a code, access, preview events, etc.
Dude, here's the thing with these guys is they want that code. They want that fucking thing. See, I have gotten codes. I've worked with people, like not in the big industry, but I've worked with people on like the smaller scale thing. And one of the most important things to me is letting me say what I want. I always ask, and if I don't, then I feel like I have to preface that. I will preface that in the video, say that there are things I cannot go into or whatever. And I haven't really, it's not like I'm going to change me. I ask them to watch my content before they provide me with anything. I want them to know who the fuck I am and what the type of shit I say in my videos before, because like I'm not going to like, I will not blame a developer for like clicking on one of my videos, calling me, hearing me say something about like retarded people jizzing in my mouth. Like that's like I'm not, I don't expect every studio and everything to be willing to work with me. But these type of people right here, they are willing to just bend the knee to whatever and do whatever. And here's the thing. One day, if I do get big enough and I start making video, like when I make my videos or reviews, I know that I don't have to adhere to anybody but myself. I mean, that's something that's cool when I've worked with other people in the past and they're like, oh, here's what you can, here, you just be you, dude. You just be you. And I try to be as I try to be like a good guy and not like, I'm like, okay, do you want me to tone anything down for this video? I can. I'm willing to be more, like adhere a little bit to so that I'm not disrespecting them because I never want to come off as disrespectful. Well, I'm this way, so you have to just accept it. I'm like, well, I want to be respectful in the same regard, but I'm not going to sit here and just like, these guys will do whatever the fuck that is like seen as okay so that they can get these sit downs, so they can get these keys.
That's and that was the whole thing. Is like I hope, and I'd like to. Let's get Damon on the Game Over Greggy show tomorrow. And Fran was like, I'll never forget. He went, it's gonna take some time, and I really didn't understand it till we were out, and it was like, oh, like this, we're their ex and they're our ex, and it's gonna you gotta go through that place of hurting each other a few times inadvertently to really get.
Let's find somewhere cool.
And it was just like, oh my god, like I was already doing this stuff and not realizing it. Like, oh, like when and as long as you believe in it, you've done your job. Like that's what people are there for. I'm never trying to rage bait. I'm never trying to farm or click farm. Like I'm just saying what I feel.
Dude, I feel like, but he does come from such a skewed angle that he's willing to double down when he sees that engagement. That is something Greg Miller definitely does, whether he wants to admit it or not. I mean, that's basically all I have to say on this. I mean, at the end of the day, I just do not respect this man, and I respect Destiny to a slight modicum, but I just don't think he's going to be that genuine. He seems more like a shill than anybody else. He's always seemed like a shill, but he had insider knowledge of what was going on with the Activision thing, and he was always the first one on the queue about that shit. But I just don't see him as being genuine and actually looking at both sides of an argument. I see him just like shilling for whatever and then asking some pretty basic questions, and every once in a while he'll push back slightly. That's who he's going to be. That's who he's always going to be. But yeah, that's all I have. My thoughts on that, dude. That's what I got. That's the the come at the end of the rainbow.